Elvis's friend Buzzy Forbes told me, Buzzy was one of the guys that was his buddy at Lauderdale Courts where Elvis was famous. Buzzy said that the last time he ever saw Elvis was inside that building at the New Year's party, and there were so many people around trying to have something to do with Elvis that Elvis had to pull Buzzy into a closet in there.
So they could talk.
To talk to his
This
friend.
is Chenault's restaurant. Elvis would go there, and they had a back room that you could go in and they could pull the curtain. And Elvis took Natalie Wood there to eat. All right, so you know who Dixie is?
Yes.
Okay, so Dixie, do you know who Dixie? Okay, Elvis's first steady girlfriend. Elvis and Dixie met at church. The church is Macklemore, which is right over here. We'll see it in a minute. But Dixie always tells the story that while in church, they would go out, they would get out of church and they would go to a black church and go up in the choir, up in the balcony. This is the church right here.
Oh, so
this
cool.
is East Trigg.
Wow. That's really cool.
So they would come. And this is a ways now. See, what I always pictured is, and that's why I like to come to places, because you picture things when you hear stories. Yeah. And so what I always pictured was a church really close to the other church. But this is a good ways. So I don't know if they jumped in the car and drove over here. I don't know how they got here, but I'll show you. And when I'm saying it's a good ways, it's probably 5 blocks. Mm-hmm. That direction. Yeah.
So let me tell y'all a really fascinating story, though.
Sure.
I'm a huge Chuck Norris fan. I'm actually friends with Mr. Norris and his wife. They're awesome people. But so Chuck in the 70s he flew into Memphis and got delayed on the plane, and he knew that Superfoot was over here. And Superfoot said that Elvis had left earlier from being over here training. And the next thing he knows, Chuck shows up here, goes up these stairs, comes up there, and he says he sees Superfoot, and Chuck is the karate champion at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Norris.
And he walks up there and he said, Bill, I just want to know who the best is. And up there, he and Chuck sparred.
Yes. Oh, that's so cool.
Just he and Chuck. Nobody was up there. And both he and Chuck will never tell what happened.
No.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So, guys, once upon a time, what I just said, Chuck Norris and Bill Superfoot Wallace wanted to find out who truly was the best in the world. And they did that night. Now, nobody's going to ever know because they're both cool guys and friends.
Mm-hmm.
But Chuck had to know. He said Chuck had to know.
That's right.
Took place up there at TKI. That's cool.
So Superfoot is created by Bill Wallace. Elvis loved Bill Wallace. And Bill actually taught at my dojo for 2 years for Congaree for Elvis. He trained Elvis over there. So Elvis hired him to come here and run this. Mm-hmm. So he was the actual sensei here. And Elvis loved football. So they would come here, they would get a Greyhound bus and bring the whole entourage over here on a bus to watch football games and that kind of stuff. Another thing that happened, and y'all may not know who this person is, but after they played the Liberty Bowl one year, he would invite the football teams to come to Graceland. One would come one day, one would come the next day. And they had I had a lady call me and say, I went to Graceland. I was the private secretary for a famous coach. Well, somebody's famous now. At the time, he was an assistant coach. And he got invited to go. And so she went to Graceland with Lou Holtz. That was who she worked for. And Lou went on to be the coach of the Fighting Irish. Very, very famous. So they went to Elvis's house on tour. And she described all the things that they saw and kind of what they saw. So basically what they said happened was Charlie came down and said, well, Elvis is asleep, but y'all can, go through the house. You can go into the trophy room and all that kind of stuff. They just hung out at Graceland and walked around and looked at all the stuff, but they never saw Elvis. He never came down.
All right, guys, you just did the 3-hour tour with myself and the spa guy. Tell me about it. What you think?
Oh, we had a blast. We learned so much today.
Yeah, I mean, you could drive around this whole town all day and not know even a quarter of the stuff that we learned today.
No.
It's so much information.
Literally, almost every street has a little piece of Elvis history that you would have never thought was there. Like, people live here and have no idea what went on in that that corner, you know? It was really cool. Really, really cool.
Well, we appreciate everything you guys did, and I definitely recommend it for anybody who likes
100%,
Elvis or
100%.
wants to visit Graceland. You got to do this.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
100%.
So I learned that you're really not an Elvis fan, but are you kind of more curious about?
I get some of the craze, but still some of the craze is
Yeah, it's
just a little nuts.
It's different.
It's a lot.
It's not crazy to me. I thought it was awesome. I'll do it again.
Yeah. Oh, I expect to see y'all again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Definitely.
will.
Part one.
Yeah, part
So
one.
tell me though, Brittany, what is it about Elvis? Why are you a fan, so much big fan of Elvis?
You know what? I honestly don't even know. I've asked myself that a million times. And like we were saying earlier, it has nothing to do with the music. It has to do with him and like the history of like who he was and like his personality and like how he was. He was so humble and like really cared about his fans. And I don't know. To me, he's different from like different celebrities.
Kind of interesting story.
Yeah, very interesting story. Definitely.
Well, hey, hope y'all enjoy your time here at Graceland and Memphis, and when you make that trip back from Miami, come on back up here and do the.
We'll be waiting on those Miami videos.
Yeah.
It's coming. Stay tuned.
It is what it is.
All right, guys, so we just ate at the Marlow's restaurant, a really great Elvis restaurant here in Memphis, Tennessee. If you don't know about it, now you will, because you need to come and visit next time. That was really a cool lady. Next time that you're in Memphis, this is definitely an Elvis restaurant. You see Elvis movies playing here when you eat at Viva's Las Vegas tonight. And this place will be full of Elvis Presley fans. About 35 minutes ago, it was full of Elvis fans. And it's just a great atmosphere, really good food. And yeah, if you're an Elvis fan, you have to come out here and check out Marlow's. They support Elvis Presley. There's Congree. And they support Globetrotting with Trey and the Spa Guy. So this is a really, really good place in Memphis. Come check it out. Let them know I sent you.
So they're just all around in a bad mood. I don't like
You got Elvis on the wall right here. And Elvis over here looking at this girl, smiling. He's looking at you right here, smiling at you. Elvis up there. Elvis is everywhere. That's a pretty cool thing right there. And that used to hang outside the building, I believe on the other side of this wall. And it was moved inside here when they remodeled. So really cool sign. So the food is good. Good barbecue. So I had to go back home for the night. Elvis played there in the 70s here in Birmingham, Alabama at the BJCC. There's some cool video of him inside there. I have filmed inside the BJCC before it was remodeled, so stay tuned for that video. I will be back in Memphis for day 3 tomorrow, so make sure you check it out. And I'm about to come to a complete stop. This doesn't look good. The sun is setting. I'm Globetrotting with Trey for tonight.